Matches below.
Hey, what's up guys? Matches Balone here, bringing you guys another movie review. So today we're going to be talking about Batman Return of the Cape Crusaders. Now I gotta say, this is by far the greatest Batman film of all time. Um, if you go back and you kind of watch my trailer reaction to this film, I was super excited because I think it's really cool that they're gonna make an animated feature inside of the Batman Adam Westbrook Ward TV show universe. I thought it was a really cool way to kind of give it that one last hurrah and kind of continue the story and obviously bring it to a new generation of fans. But of course, like everything else, you know, you always have this kind of like little bit of a hesitancy just because you know you don't know how well it's going to be portrayed, right? They did say, oh, they're bringing some of the old actors in to portray them, but they're also going to be using new different people to kind of portray the ones who are no longer with us. So it was this very kind of shaky thing. And also personally, I feel like a lot of the kind of like direct to home video animated films have been a little bit of a hit and miss recently. So that's also some of the nervousness I had with the film. But I gotta say, as soon as the film started and you see that intro, all my worries were away. You know, I just thought these guys, they got it on lock. This is gonna be a good film, and I got nothing to worry about. And it turns out it wasn't just a good film; it was a great film. Like I said, this is probably the greatest Batman film of all time. If you kind of see the smile on my face, it's just because I loved it. You know, like rarely is there a movie that comes out where there's like no negatives, like there's nothing that you didn't dislike. This is that film. It was just completely amazing, and it's really hard for me to describe it to you guys just because I don't want to spoil the film. I highly suggest you guys go watch it just because it's such an awesome film. But I'll try to give you guys a quick synopsis. So basically, it's Batman and Robin, right? They're on an adventure and they have to stop the kind of criminal group of Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman, right? That's that's what I thought the film was gonna be, since that's what they showed in the trailer. And then they kind of give us this really big plot twist that it just took me for a loop, and I was like, whoa, like what am I watching right now? And so what's really cool is that this film is almost like two stories in one, but the way they kind of twisted it and kind of bended each story within the other one, it was just awesome, and they perfectly executed it, and it was just incredible. You know, there, man. Well, look, essentially, as they go and they try to stop the bad guys, along the way, Batman kind of gets brainwashed and he becomes a little more menacing, a little, we'll simply put, evil. And so now it's up to Robin and Catwoman to try to kind of shake him back into his senses. And, you know, the whole Catwoman becoming a little bit of a hero is not a really big plot twist. She's always been that kind of character who's been kind of anti-villain, anti-hero, depending on the situation. Both in the comics and in the original TV show, she was always kind of like, you know, a little leaning both ways. And so it is kind of cool considering that the voice actors of Batman, Robin, and Catwoman are the original actors from the TV show, that they got to pretty much hang out for the most part throughout this film. So I really like that. I gotta say, all of the flirting between Batman and Catwoman, it was so funny just because of the reactions Robin would give, and it would kind of really show this awkwardness of him being like the third wheel and stuff. So it was just completely laugh out loud throughout the whole film. You know, there's not really any gripes on the film. You know, I was kind of a little iffy on the art style they chose. I didn't really think it was the best drawings, but I gotta say they really did capture the imagery of that show, and I really think of the era of that Batman. There's a lot of kind of cool homages to the greater Batman universe, but I'll get to that in a second. You know, I was a little hesitant on the animation, but I think they did it phenomenally. I think it was awesome. And another kind of gripe I had was kind of like the voice acting. You know, I said it in the trailer reaction. They do sound older, and obviously these actors have aged. I mean, you know, back then the TV show was in the '60s up until now. Of course, they gotten a little older, but it's the same thing where, you know, it kind of feels a little weird at first, but then as the movie progresses and as you watch it, it kind of just melts away, and you just tend to forget any kind of like weirdness throughout it all. I do gotta say, even though the three actors they do sound older, the weirdest one is just Robin, just because he's supposed to be portraying a teenage boy, yet he sounds, you know, like an old man. So I thought that was really funny. And the other voice actors who came in to kind of portray the classic roles of Joker and Penguin and Riddler, and you know, and the cast, and the supporting cast like Riddler and Commissioner Gordon. Riddler, Alfred and Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara and Harriet. All of those actors, I think they did a really good job. They, you know, if they did not necessarily capture the characters, I think they captured, or the actors, I think they definitely captured the characters. It definitely sounded like that version of the Joker and that version of the Riddler. They all kind of had their signature laughs and chuckles and just very small characteristics that you always recognize from the, you know, the actors. And I think these new voice actors really did a great job. I kind of, you know, really kind of almost giving an homage to those original actors. So I really like that. There were some like, kind of like weird subtle changes where like I think some of the supporting cast were a little weird, just because some actors or some characters in the original TV show that wouldn't necessarily wear glasses, in the film they always had glasses on, and vice versa. If in the TV show they had glasses, in the movie they didn't have glasses. So I don't know if maybe that was kind of like some type of mistake, or you know, they couldn't get the character likeness or whatnot, but that was really weird. This film kind of, man, it's just awesome because it goes everywhere. You know, you go from Gotham City to outer space to underwater to, you know, whatever you could think of. And so Batman has this whole arsenal of vehicles. And what I really love is that all the vehicles have this kind of unibody design where it's similar to the Batmobile, where it has a black body, but then it has the red lining with the red Batman logo. And so I really like that. You know, it's just insane the different equipment he has, but it's just awesome. And what I really like is that depending on the situation, Batman and Robin would have like kind of special protective gear, right? And what what was really awesome is that even in that you know, suit, if the astronaut suit or the submarine or the underwater suit or whatever, the diving suit, they would have their Batman and Robin logos. They would have their Batman and Robin capes, and Batman would still have his ears on the helmet. So I just thought that it's just little things like that that they're so unnecessary, but it's, you know, it's one of those like very kind of like characteristics of that show and of that era of Batman. Like I said, this kind of blends a lot of different versions of Batman. The intro, like the kind of beginning intro sequence where they're kind of saying these are the actors, it looks like the original sequence from the TV show, but they blended in a lot of kind of comic book art. So the first time you see Batman, it looks like the original first appearance on Detective Comics, right? And the first time you see Robin, same thing. It looks like the first appearance of Robin, and so on and so forth. All the villains have these very kind of like iconic comic book covers as they appear as well. So they did kind of like try to show you the bigger history of Batman, not just from the TV show. And what I really love is that in the cave, you see in the background these like two glass cases where they have older Batman suits. One of them is the first appearance of Batman from, you know, Detective Comics, and then one of them, I believe, is the Batman suit from that old black and white Batman and Robin serials that they did before the Adam West show. So just stuff like that, it looks really cool. There's also a dinosaur in the Batcave, which again, you never saw that in the TV show, but the fact that they kind of showed it in the background in this film, it's just really cool and really awesome, and I definitely like that. Like I said, there is a part in the film where Batman gets a little darker just because of the brainwashing, but he also becomes more vicious and more brutal. And through that, they also kind of gave little homages and just subtle things that, you know, the new versions of Batman kind of do. So I really like that. This, even though this is kind of like the celebration of the Batman Adam West '60s TV show, I think in a lot of ways it's almost a celebration of just the Batman character as a whole. And so I really like this. Watching this just kind of made me very reminiscent of the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon show, just because that was a really cool Batman that kind of showcased Batman throughout the era. And I think this one captured the same magic. And it was just, in simple words, it's just awesome. Like I said, I really don't have any negatives. Any type of gripes and hindrance I had were very minute, and they kind of just disappeared as the film progressed. So I think that just goes to show just how good of a film this is. By far, this is the best Batman film I've seen all year, and that includes Batman v Superman. So, I just simply loved it. I know we're getting a sequel with Two-Face, so that's really cool. One thing I want to say before this ends is the fact that even though the main bad guys are the Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman, those were always, I guess, the big four from the TV show. I mean, they were the big four that kind of were the bad guys for the original Batman movie. But there is a sequence in the film, or I guess there's a part of the film where they kind of give a little more love to the other kind of really weird Batman villains from the TV show. So it's really cool because we get to see Mr. Freeze, Bookworm, King Tut. So there's just like a whole Egghead. There's just a whole range of villains that we get to see in this film, and I really loved it because, like I said, this is the ultimate, just, I don't know, celebration of the Batman Adam West Burt Ward TV show. So I just really loved it. I'm 22, so the way I know the Batman, the Adam West Batman show is because my dad showed me the original movie, and then my grandpa started showing me episodes of the TV show. So I grew up with a very fondness and a love of that show in my heart. I really think the reason I love Robin and the kind of Batman and Robin dynamic duo is simply because of this TV show. And I do have a younger brother and I have younger cousins, and they don't really know this show. So I feel like this is the perfect film that I can show them, and just they'll understand why this Batman is such a cool Batman and why the show was so awesome for, the time that it was. So I just really loved it. I like it. If you guys haven't understand, I highly suggest you guys go watch this. I would say go buy it just because it's so good. It deserves every dollar that it makes. It's really that good. There's nothing more I can say other than that. So yeah, like I said, I really can't get this smile off my face just because I'm thinking of the film, and there's so much I want to talk about, but at the same time, I don't want to spoil it for you guys because it's such a great film and you're going to enjoy it from the moment it starts to the moment it ends. I look forward to that sequel. I hope it becomes a series of Batman films. If we can't get it as a cartoon show, I would definitely love it to be, kind of a series of kind of like home video, movies. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is my review for the Return of the Caped Crusaders. Go ahead, comment down below with any of you guys' thoughts and opinions. Have you guys seen the film? Have you guys seen the old TV show? Are you guys fans of this version of Batman? What are your thoughts? But yeah, like the video, guys, if you guys like it, dislike it if you didn't, and subscribe, and look forward to more videos, guys. Thanks. Laters.